2007, an online poker player who played under the screen name Andy McLeod was making huge score after huge score. Unlike most highly successful online tournament players, Andy McLeod, who also plays on Full Tilt under the screen name The Fat Fish, kept his identity very secret. Although many in the poker industry already knew the reason for his secrecy, the situation came to a head in late 2007 when a fellow poker player outed him in the online poker forums as being under 18 years old. With that, Andy McLeod, The Fat Fish, and all of the players' other screen names disappeared from the virtual felts. Disappeared, that is, until a few weeks ago, when Andy McLeod, whose real name is James Oates, stepped back into the ring to start making huge scores once again. The now 18-year-old Oates made the final table of the PokerStars Sunday Million a week and a half ago to come back in style. Well, the floodgates are now open for Oates, and the legal concerns are out the window. So we've got him on the phone right now from Australia to talk about having to leave the game, how it feels to come back, and how he continues to make ridiculously consistent scores. All right, so thank you very much for doing this interview with us, Andy. James, actually. I'm actually going to be probably screwing that up a few times in this interview. So thank you very much for doing this interview with us. I appreciate it.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
So before we get too far into the strategy, actually, we really do need to talk about kind of you getting pushed offline in the first place and your triumphant return and all that good stuff. So could you maybe explain to those who don't know what happened to you after in late 2007 that got you pushed offline?
Yeah, well, I had a bit of a dispute with a colleague, and I probably said some things about him which I didn't really need to, and he was obviously quite offended, and he decided to tell everyone that I was underage. So then, everything just sort of took off, and people emailed the sites, and that was that for.
And so, you were actually, in fact, banned from the sites. Then, is that correct?
Yeah, at least the major ones.
Okay, and were there any repercussions, or did they just make it so that you couldn't play anymore?
No, I think it was just they suspended my accounts, but I think it's all fine now that I'm 18.
I was going to say, obviously they're welcoming you back now that you're of legal age, but I just wanted to check and make sure they didn't seize any funds or anything like that, so everything's okay.
Oh, no, I don't think so.
Okay, you don't think so? You don't know for sure, though?
No, they didn't.
Well, as far as the kind of dispute you had with this colleague, who will leave unnamed based on the fact that obviously you don't necessarily want to name the person, have you mended those bridges at all, or are you still kind of feeling a little hurt about that?
Oh, that's the nature of the business. You'll have some characters you don't get along with and whose values you don't sort of agree with, but I can't see myself being great friends with him in the future, but I'd certainly be pleasant around him, or I wouldn't sort of try to pick a fight with him if I saw him or anything like that.
Okay. Well, what have you been doing in the meantime? You've had basically 8 months to not play online poker, so...
Yeah, initially I just spent a lot of time trying to get an apartment here in Adelaide, and because that's what I'd been planning on doing for quite a long time, and then I've actually spent most of the year in hospital because I had to have surgery and other fun stuff.
Other fun stuff. Sounds fun. Actually, you said that. We're doing this interview at 9 a.m. your time right now, and you're saying that later on today you have to go in for surgery. How long is that going to put you out of commission for?
Not quite sure, actually. Just shouldn't be too long, but that's the last one, so hopefully it'll be better after that.
Okay. That's good news. Well, what is your take on the entire... obviously you're going to have a biased viewpoint on underage gambling because you were underage and you gambled and it worked out quite well for you. But and you always hear about people like superstars like you and Annette 15 who have done really well for themselves while they're underage, and people kind of glorify the fact that they were so good at their game at such a young age. But then you obviously have people that say people that are underage shouldn't be playing. We have rules against it for a reason. What's your take?
Yeah, well, I don't really think they should be playing. Obviously, it's against the rules, and besides the fact that most people won't really be mature enough to handle the money, I mean, there's other more important things to be doing at that age, like school and whatnot. So, I mean, I certainly don't think people should be playing underage. It's just quite difficult when you get introduced to the game at such a young age and you have a real passion for it immediately. So, especially when you know other people who are playing underage and there's sort of no issue there, and well, as in they're getting away with it fine, and I mean, you're not getting an unfair advantage over anyone else. So from that perspective, I mean, it's almost just like drinking underage or anything like that. You sort of don't think twice.
Okay. Well, and since you got so good at such a young age, do you have any idea how you got so good? I mean, what were you doing that was making you improve your game?
Sleepless nights. Just playing too much, probably.
Not paying attention to school. Well, and speaking of school, I mean, did you finish your pre-university school, and are you going to go to university?
I actually did everything, but I got sick just on Year 12 exams, so didn't quite finish those. So
okay.
Glad it's over, and maybe one day I'll go back and finish.
Well, now let's talk about it. I mean, you're of age now. You're 18. You've already had a huge score to kind of break back into the swing of things. You made the final table at the Sunday Million. So, I mean, how does it feel to be back into it? Is anything changed?
Yeah, it's good to be back. I wouldn't really say anything's changed besides a few relationships, but no, I don't think everyone still plays pretty similar, and everything's going along as it had been, so it's good.
And you don't think taking that time away from poker has affected you negatively at all or anything like that?